Weddington is the ex-husband of Sarah Weddington, the lawyer who successfully argued for the legalization of abortion in the Roe v. Wade case.
26 million food stamp recipients is more than the economy can stand. You can start immediately to eliminate the barely educated, unhealthy, and poor segment of our country. No, I'm not advocating some sort of mass extinction of these unfortunate people. Crime, drugs, and disease are already doing that. I am not proposing that you send federal agents armed with Depo-Provera dart guns to the ghetto. You should use persuasion rather than coercion. Our survival depends upon our developing a population where everyone contributes. We don't need more cannon fodder. We don't need more parishioners. We don't need more cheap labor. We don't need more poor babies.
We don't need people like his
2
ass.
days after being sworn in as president, Bill Clinton issued an executive order that allowed federally funded agencies to refer low-income women for abortions. He also directed that American dollars could be funneled to organizations that promote abortion in foreign countries.
That's why I don't like Bill Clinton at all. He was the phoniest president of all. He was a real bastard, a sneaky ass snake.
When a sullen black woman of 17 or 18 can decide to have a baby and get well-bearing food stamps and become a burden to us all, it's time to stop. Dr. Edward Allred, Abortions, 1980.
Edward Allred is the owner of one of the largest chains of abortion clinics in the United States. Not long before Allred made this statement, the Los Angeles Times had reported that his California facilities were handling referrals made by Planned Parenthood.
Even as late as the 1960s, the wealthy elite who made up the eugenics movement never tried to hide the fact that their agenda was driven by financial considerations as much as it was driven by the desire to create racial purity. A good example of this was seen in 1967 when eugenicist and Nobel Prize winner Dr. William Shockley caused a national uproar when he stated that it was a waste of taxpayer money to create better schools and welfare programs for what he called ghetto Negroes. He claimed to have research showing that people of African descent are genetically inferior to whites in intelligence and simply not smart enough to take advantage of programs designed to help them. To save taxpayer money, he proposed that the U.S. government implement forced birth control to lower the reproduction of the inferior classes and then issue certificates to become pregnant that would be sold on the New York Stock Exchange. Shockley was a National Committee member of Planned Parenthood and a featured speaker at least one Planned Parenthood conference.
When Florida abortion clinic owner Joyce Tarnow appeared on a local talk show, she gave the following reply when asked what America should do to help impoverished nations that are facing starvation or other natural disasters.
Time is running out for us. In 1968, Dr. Paul Ehrlich wrote The Population Bomb. And in that book, he stated a thesis that what we should be doing is helping those nations that have a reasonable chance of being able to produce their own food supplies. Those that cannot do that, for whatever reason, those people have to just sink or swim on their own. And what we do is try to help those societies become self-sustaining that have a chance to learn how to fish in order to feed themselves.
Wait a minute.
You know, I want to say something. These Europeans bring their ass on the earth and destroy everybody's way of life by introducing them to their corporations that comes in and try to set up businesses and shit like that to extract the energies from the people of these lands and push them into offices that they've created where these people can work for them all day for low wages, and then they move in and chase them off the land and build their houses and shit and build dams and drown people and dry people out and all kind of stuff that they do. And then she got her ass to sit up here and say some shit, that remark she just made about helping the people that teaching a person to fish. You know, the nerves to have this type of arrogance and this type of ego when you are the last people that showed up on the earth. And the sun has been giving people knowledge of sustaining themselves forever. You guys are the ones who can't get knowledge from the sun because you don't have the pigment for it. And that's the reason the world is messed up, because you're not receiving knowledge from the sun. And you can sit your ass up and make an idiot out of yourself by saying the shit she just said. In other words, we want to be God. We want you to worship Jesus, but then when it's asking for us to be too much, and we see that there's no help for you, then we just turn our back on you and just leave you and say, fuck you. That's pretty much what she's saying. And that's the attitude of the world in general. So again, I wanted to give you a real basic description of the people who has perpetuated this type of ignorance around the world. There she goes right there. She looks just like the other guy, except she's got a coochie and he had a phallus. I bet if they both have a baby, their baby will be Hitler or George Bush.
Are you I just want to make sure this is clear. Are you advocating, or was he advocating basically writing off
Yes.
people that have no hope of ever because of the
Yes.
climate or whatever problems,
Yes.
sort
Yes.
of like survival of the fittest?
Right. And the thing
Do
is,
you agree with that?
yes, I do. The more people you help to survive, the more people are going to be reproducing and having children beyond what we can reasonably hope to have, so that we can educate and house and feed these people.
Okay, educate, house, and feed these people is something they weren't even willing to do when we were under bondage by them. Okay, so we can understand when you are benefiting from a people that you have oppressed, and your way of thanking them for their oppression is by beating them, selling them, and all this atrocious shit that they did to us and are still doing today. For her to suggest that it's in her center of control as to whether or not these people do well and should be privileged to receive handouts from them after 500 years of them oppressing us. Okay, all right, you understand what I'm saying? Now, a lot of the people on the earth think that I'm a troublemaker, but the problem is people like her that has been privileged to reproduce, and the reproduction of people like her only creates larger amounts of people like her. So now you have people like her all over the planet still perpetuating propaganda now to kill 80% of the planet. Okay, now I'm just pointing that out to everybody. For all the people out there who don't understand what my mission is, I observe and report. I see what I see here on this earth. Like I tell you, I came here on the sunlight. All right, now you guys, you got to understand what I mean. My spirit came here and was manifested into the sarcophaguses of my mother and my father. They came together, had a union with each other, and their union brought the spiritual energy and the physical matter together to let me have an existence on this planet. My purpose of existing on this planet was to observe everything and report everything. And that's exactly what I'm doing with you guys, as I do to our universal creator mother and father. So this is what we're dealing with. I am warning you that this lady right here is not alone. There is a whole lot of people on this earth that is diligent about committing the acts of criminality that she is sitting here with their balls. I bet you this was a man who cut his dick off and left his balls there to tell you their desire to. Let me just let her tell you. Listen.
When Joyce Tarnow retired in 2004, she told a local newspaper that she had tried to get as many people sterilized as are in my way. She also restated her views on foreign aid, saying that the United States should help those countries that can prosper, but let the others wither on the vine. Citing Haiti as an example, Tarnow said that the Haitian people should be made to stew in their own juices because they had destroyed their environment.
Oh, let's talk about that.
In order to
Listen to this. When you say they should stew in their own juices because they have destroyed their own environment, let me explain something to you. I can show you a whole history of white Europeans going over to Haiti, enslaving people, impoverishing people, and they are the ones who destroyed everything over there, just like they destroy everything everywhere they go, like they did over in Lagos, Nigeria. Okay, so we're not even going to listen to who's destroying the earth after the black man and woman has lived in harmony with this planet for millions of years. All right, we're not even going to go there. We know who destroyed this planet. We know who destroyed the people of this planet.
We understand the role money plays in the eugenics movement. It is important to keep in mind that its original mission was not to make a profit, but to eliminate a group of people that the elite saw as a financial burden because of things like welfare, crime, taxes, and so forth. And when you look at the wealthy individuals and corporations that fund the modern eugenics movement, you see that this has not really changed. You also see that these people are willing to pay out big money to those who can carry out their agenda. And when Planned Parenthood figured this out, they volunteered for the job. The result is that money has been poured into this organization to the point that Planned Parenthood is now a billion-dollar multinational corporation that operates the largest chain of abortion clinics and birth control facilities in America.
While much of Planned Parenthood's financial success has been because of donations from these wealthy individuals and large corporations, it has also raked in billions from you and me. In 2006 alone, despite having made over $60 million in profit, Planned Parenthood received about $350 million from the U.S. government. And in 2009, Planned Parenthood will receive approximately $1 million every single day from the American taxpayer. That's $1 million every 24 hours. That comes directly out of your paycheck and mine.
The reason for that is that America is showing her diligence at murdering the melanated people in this country, all right? The reason why they can have a budget that large and then we watch everybody living in alleys and everything like that is because it is a deliberate plot of genocide that is in effect by the American citizens as well as the American government. All know that you are all involved in genocide against the melanated man and woman of this planet. And that's the reason why the sun has showed you all. I am about to laser the shit out of all you motherfuckers because I'm not stupid and neither is Asar and neither are you. We all know what's going on, alright? So don't get mad at my ass for letting your ass know that everybody in the universe know what y'all asses are up to.
Now, what you may find interesting is how your money is being spent. To give you just one example, we're going to show you part of a website that Planned Parenthood launched in 2008 called TakeCareDownThere.com. The clip is titled, I Didn't Speak, and I warn you, many of you are going to find it highly offensive, and you're going to find it especially inappropriate for children, despite the fact that is exactly who Planned Parenthood created it for. As you watch this piece, remember, you have to pay for it.
Whoa, guy, where's the prophylactic? What do you mean? Look, oral sex is still sex, okay? If it's unprotected, you gotta reject it.
What? What? But I didn't even spew.
Guys, doesn't matter. Look, if you're having sex or you're getting some blowjays or whatever, you need to use a condom. Because you could catch a sexually transmitted infection, even if you don't spew.
Okay, now see, look at this shit. Let me tell you what's going on with this shit, alright? That's 3 men talking about using a condom. Alright, there is no woman in the picture anywhere. You see they show the black guy being the most subservient one. He's down there sucking this guy off. We all saw what happened. I ain't got to go into detail. But then here come this idiot with a tie. Representation of authority, or the representation of, you know what I mean, done graduated, done moved up. He have to come through, and what does he suggest to these guys? Not, hey man, don't you know that you shouldn't be sucking his dick? You both are men. What kind of shit is that? You know, all that type of stuff is what should be coming out of his mouth. But no, it's perfectly alright what you guys is doing. But I didn't spew. That's okay too. But still, just use a condom. And then I tell you that they're putting diseases in the condoms. Here's disease in the mind. That means that if you got some young man who's out there confused by all this sublime suggestion of homosexuality, this being one right here, this is something that could probably push him over the edge. Because when this man walk up and look crazy, you thinking he gonna come over and give some advice like, well, no, this is disgusting, like a vomit. No, he just tells them the safe way to do it. So this right here is another disguised method of aborting the reproduction of black children, because if he's busy having fun with Mikey there, he ain't gonna be getting no woman pregnant, or if he do get a woman pregnant, he's gonna be living 2 sides of the fence as to where he really couldn't be an adequate father. So you're gonna end up with a child destined to end up in prison or fucked up some kind of way through all the side effects of being in a tarnished, homosexually privileged and provoked society such as the one we have here. It is ridiculous for this to be somewhere in the mediocrity for people to see, but these people right here just went on and got stuff that was available and made this DVD footage off of what was available, the same way I go to YouTube and do it. So people are just showing the world for what it is. You can't get mad at the people who is elaborating and being honest with you and sharing to you their point of view of why the world is the way it is. Like, I'll give you a perfect example. I was flipping through YouTube one night and I heard a whole bunch of stuff going on from a page that I had accidentally gotten into, and it really bothered my soul to hear all the racist stuff that all these people were saying. So what did I do? I got weak and I made a real racist comment back in general to the people that was on that page, all of the things that they were suggesting that should be done to black people. So my comment was, I tell you what, all you racist self-hating crackers are all gonna be punished for what you have done, okay? It would have been all good and appropriate if it would have stayed in the position where I put it at on the YouTube page. Next thing I know, where's the shit at? It's way out in the public. First thing you see whenever you punch my name in the computer, as if to suggest to the world that I'm this big racist guy or whatever. Yeah, those are my writings and those are words that I said, but I left it in an appropriate place for something like that to be said. Now listen, you know, I'll tell all y'all right now that you're a bunch of criminals and the shit that you have done is really fucked up, okay? I'm guilty of that myself. I'm not Mr. Perfect. I've done a bunch of bad stuff too, but I work hard at trying to correct my bad karma. That's one of the reasons I take the risk on doing all this extra duty, don't get paid for this stuff that I do. Alright? And along with that, it's been ordained by the universe for me to do it. So that is really what motivates me. But what I'm trying to point out to everybody is that someone has to come out here and point to you that there is people deliberately screwing the minds up of our young men through propaganda like this. Whenever you get love propaganda, it's a man and another man. You hardly ever see that type of exchange between a man and a woman. Why couldn't he be saying to a man and a woman the proper way to have intercourse with each other is to get with a person that you love, stick with that person for life, and then you guys would never have to use a condom. This is the type of information that should be getting pushed around in our society. The reason it is not is because we do not want a society that's perpetuated off of principles of godliness. We need a society that is homosexuality based, like the men who have come out here with guns and taken control of the society are. And that is ridiculous, but it is true. And I want to just point that out to everybody so you can see what you are up against until the system of being is changed. Because right now, this is big gear open, accelerated to the ground. This is what they want. This right here. If you think I'm lying, look around. 3 men and a baby. Everything you see is about some man with another man and women with other women. I dare you to turn on a pornography movie. First thing you're going to see in there is 2 men get naked and have 1 woman. That right there is an act of homosexuality. Anytime 2 men engage in a sexual intercourse, even if they do throw a female medium in there, it's still an act of homosexuality. Any way you look at it. So our world is bombarded with that. And that's one of the things that is contributing also to the decline in the birth rate of young black men and women.
Now, does this clip say anything about how Planned Parenthood sees African Americans? You'll have to judge that for yourself. But there's no doubt that if this same video had been made by a bunch of white supremacists or the Ku Klux Klan or some neo-Nazi group, we would all understand the symbolic message behind it.
In 2007, Live Action Films of California conducted an undercover investigation of Planned Parenthood offices in several states. Under the direction of the organization's president, Lila Rose, the goal of the project was to determine whether Planned Parenthood officials would accept financial donations on the condition that the money would only be used to eliminate African Americans. The following clips are from the actual recordings of those conversations.
When I underwrite abortion, does that apply to minorities too?
If you specifically wanted to underwrite an abortion for a minority person, you can target it that way. You can specify that that's how you want it spent.
Okay, yeah, because there's definitely way too many black people in Ohio, so I'm just trying to do my part.
Okay, whatever.
Well, blacks especially need abortions too, so that's what I'm trying to do.
Well, for whatever reason, we'll accept the money.
So the abortion could be, you know, I could give money specifically for a black baby. That would be the purpose.
Yes, absolutely. If you wanted to designate that you wanted your gift to be used to help an African American woman in need, then we would certainly make sure that gift was earmarked specifically for that purpose.
Great, because I really face trouble with affirmative action, and I don't want my kids being disadvantaged, you know, against black kids. I just had a baby. I want to put it in his name, you know. So that's definitely possible.
Oh, always, always.
So,
You know, in case you guys got lost, what's going on here is that these people are pledging money or donating money to Planned Parenthood. Now, along with all the money that Planned Parenthood is receiving from the government to go around the world and murder all the black children and stop them from being born, they have what you call private funding. And private funding is where all these corporations around the world that has also gained mass wealth from the distribution of alcohol, tobacco, prison, unfair prison sentences, all the police corruption, writing bad tickets, all the shit that you can imagine is money that they generated from us that they put back into circulation to process and finance Planned Parenthood. Now, what you're listening to is this is the caller line that when people call in and give money, you know, donate money, and then they can also donate money and get a tax rebate off of their money at the end of the year. So now you get all these white people that these guys who made this segment purposely hired to call and mimic people who was, if you will, authentic donors, and these were just actors. And this is the response they was getting. And one person had the nerves to say that he wanted black people to, this guy, it's all a front. They're not really people that's going to donate money, I don't think. But what he said is specific to the lady that was the receptionist. He said, I don't want my child to have to compete with black children because of affirmative action. And you know, I want to point out to you guys that during the affirmative action time, that never really affirmed any damn thing, alright? It never confirmed or affirmed or became any type of manifestation at all. It was just a bunch of garbage and a bunch of rhetoric bullshit that we always get from this freaking government. But the whole point is, during that time, I want to tell you about experience I had. I got a job through affirmative action because I had a CDL license, and I didn't even really want, to tell you the truth, to take this job. But it was a brother that I had ran in contact with, and he was telling me about the opportunity down there and this and that, and it was a good job. It was a very good job, and I didn't really want it, but it was a job in the construction field where I could drive dump truck and possibly operate heavy equipment, which was my goal. It was one of my biggest desires at that time. Only problem was when I got to the place that I got dispatched to, I got welcomed by a bunch of racist ass white people who didn't even want to figure out or see the ideal that affirmative action was put into effect because of the actions that I was getting faced with that day was not new from them. They had already had a history of murdering us, all the horrible shit they've done to us, and then now they want to use affirmative action as the necessary fuel to just be themselves, you know? And so I came out there, and needless to say, they were all rude and nasty and shit. And then I hear comments about them saying, we don't think that it's right that black people should have a job that they're not qualified for, and this and that, and woo woo. And it's like, well, how am I not qualified for the job? I'm driving the truck while I'm here. So what makes me not qualified for the job? If I came here and stood around and couldn't drive the truck and the truck stayed parked, that'd be one thing. But I'm qualified. I'm driving the truck. The problem is that you don't hire black people, and we're supposed to be in a world where everyone should be able to sustain themselves. So for some reason, a bunch of citizens got together and decided we need to do something about this, and they implemented that, and it did go through. But the problem was that the government has more money than the concerned citizens had, and wherever you was benefited to get in a position of employment from affirmative action, they had so much money where they would make it so miserable for you that you would just decline from that job and go away. And that's exactly what I did, because it was a high-paying job. It was paying, and it was prevailing wage, because they were going to be building bridges, like the bridge we just had built here on St. John overpass here. And if you guys notice, when you watch that whole construction job get done, you didn't ever see anything out there doing that whole job but white people. And that's the control they have over those jobs, prevailing wage jobs, because they're such high-paid jobs. And most of them stand around all day with their finger up their ass bullshitting and just milk the job as much as they can. But now when I lived in Hawaii, it was the total opposite, because the Hawaiian people were the ones who ran those city jobs and put in the street lights and did all their pipes underground. And this one guy, Riviera, I remember him, he was one of the Hawaiian guys who had a whole lot of contract. He was actually one of the guys out there who put me to work with my truck. I take my hat off to that man. His name was Hiram Riviera. He was one of the only people on that island who put me to work and treated me like a man, because he was a man. But everybody else was so full of shit and so damn racist, it was pathetic. But that guy gave me a job, and I just went through a lot of shit with the people that worked for him, but he was a good guy. But my thing is, the Hawaiians who ran those city jobs, they used the same method of control that the European man used, and I saw them doing it. They did not allow, and I could understand why they was doing it. I didn't say nothing. I kept my own business. But while I was working around there and had the privilege to lay pipes in the ground and drive my dump truck for what little time it was, I can see them Hawaiian people had developed this same strategy of staying in control of their island that the European man uses here, and try to stay in control of his stolen land that he stole from the melanated man and woman, and he plans on keeping it by denying the melanated man and woman the proper avenue to sustain themselves. And there in Hawaii, the Hawaiian population of indigenous people plan on keeping control of their island by not letting those top caliber jobs end up into the possession of the white man. And they should. And just so you can know, while I did live in Hawaii, there was always council meetings by the local Hawaiian people and the intruding European people. They were constantly at battle because the Hawaiian people want them to totally get the hell out of there. 100% get out of here. And the white people just will not leave. So I'm pointing that out to you guys because this is a system of world problem amongst people, because you guys have gone everywhere on the planet and taken over land from other people and implemented your policies as to where this type of shit right here that we're listening to right now on TV end up going on the lands of the people that you guys, what you call colonizing, I call it intruding, murdering, and stealing. Straight up genocide. I hate to be the one to tell you that, but I'm being honest with you. There is nothing pretty about your word colonizing. It does not describe your actions.
Would it be possible for me to donate that money specifically for these minority groups so that they could have access to abortions?
Yes, it would be.
Wonderful. And could I specify that abortion be done, or those abortions be done for a particular minority group, or how does that work?
If you wish, you can.
Okay. So, for example, the black community in Tulsa, because I have connections with that, would it be possible to give the money specifically for that?
You sure can.
Wonderful. Great. So can I give you my credit card number?
Yes.
Wonderful. Just one more thing. The abortions will be done specifically for black community abortions.
I will mark it in such a way that definitely it will.
Oh, great. On a black baby.
Yes.
Thank you. Great.
The exact amount we charge right now is $450 for an abortion.
Okay, $450.
Mm-hmm. And we can definitely designate it for an African American.
Wonderful.
Yeah.
Okay, and if I want to make to fund, because this is a if I wanted to help fund multiple abortions, could you also specify that this could be done for a specific group?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I'm really excited, because I really face trouble with affirmative action. I don't want my kids to be disadvantaged, against blacks in college and on the bus. The less blacks out there, the better. So.
Yeah, it's a strange time for sure.
Yeah.
So, okay. Well, thank you very much, Jeremy. And if you have any questions, please feel free to give me a call. My extension is 304.
Okay, now, if you guys notice, one thing that was in constant synonymous relation with all of those receptionists is that the only thing they did was agree with what this agent was saying. They never offered anything to him about, yeah, we should get rid of blacks. Not one of them said anything like that. They just all agreed that if that's where you want me to put, you want your money to be sent, I would do that. There's nothing illegal about that. There's something illegal about the whole idea of you working for a clinic that you know murdered babies, okay? But see, it'd be something illegal if a guy suggested to him that he wanted the abortion to certainly be for black people because he did not stand firmly behind affirmative action and he just felt that black people was undesirable and should be killed. Then if she agreed with him on that, then that would be a crime because now it turns into premeditated genocide between the both